Okay, when we get to trust, again, it's the pushing to have things. It's pushing to share things. I married you. We've got joint resources now. Let's invest in this. Let's spend this. It's like my imagination of stuff like this is, I had younger brothers. So I had no trouble when I was younger. I'd spend my allowance very quickly, and then I'd help them to spend theirs in the way I would want them to spend it. Not really that ethical, but older brothers do that. And I'd always be able to share some of their things with them. And just that's a misuse of trust in a way. We've got our energy together. We're getting this. Now let's see how you can use your energy, or let's put this together to do that. Mars is pushing in the 8th house to do that, pushing the trust. Trust me, I'll do it right. I can do this. We can do this. We can make more money. Let's just put it together. Okay, that's a nice way of looking at it. And a negative way would be, I slept with you, so pay for me. Or put our energy, like, it can come in a lot of different ways. But there's a tendency to fight over shared resources, or what energy is going for me. How much do we pay for the kids? How much do we not pay for the school? What schools do they go to? Where do we put them? The resources to take care of that both people have to be involved with. If one person is doing it all, the marriage isn't going to hold. So, or the business, it takes that trust and the energy to work towards that trust. So usually the Mars there wants to be trustworthy, but often it's pushing and making demands that make it, I don't know if you call it high maintenance, or at least expensive to support. So when you, like, we're just going through each of the keywords. Oh, we have time. Oh, geez, we're almost finished. Okay, so just using the keywords, the partnership, you're pushing for partnership and relationships. You can be forcing the partnership, partially, it could be forcing, you could be arguments with it. That's the quickest interpretation, but really it's let's be active and do things. Let's do things together. And when we get to the duty, it's trying to work, use your Mars. Mars, you can think of as work, the energy you do to get duty, or work to be healthy, or to keep physically fit. But you might start off with a klutziness or awkwardness or some problem physical that you're having to work to get over. How to get them, keep the muscles in shape. When you get down to the 5th house of performance, you want to perform and show what you're doing. The lover, my kids are the best, let's do this, let's do it. It's not really socially doing, it's showing off. I'm doing this, but it's sharing it with other people to make them feel better. So a lot of performers would have this. There's a need to play and do things and to show people how to do things. And a capacity to be angry if you don't let me do this. The 4th house is down in your personal security. You're looking to get experience where you're feeling it. You're doing things to be secure at home, and you could be mad about that security or angry about it if it's threatened or whatever. But the Mars is down in your personal home, and people who live with you would run across this more. So that's basically it. We've gone through the houses a little bit faster on the end of it, but it's not that I'm trying to define it for you. I'm just trying to show you how to use these categories, because you may be able to go through one of these, two of these categories and do much. You may have a few understandings of it that's better than mine. You know, I've been working on, I have certain understandings, and that's pretty well what I'm showing you. But it's language. There's a lot of literacy. There's a lot of ways to expand this. We're looking at Mars and energy. You stay focused on the planet. It's going to pick up an attitude of the sign it's in. It's going to throw its energy into the area where the Mars is. And in some way, they're going to be the Mars that they are. And each of these factors will be there in some way in their life. And if they're not going to be as fulfilled in their life. So, okay. You can go through the keywords, and each of these keywords you can relate. You can see the Mars pushing through each of the keywords. But I'm going to leave it here. We're at the 9 o'clock yet. So next week we start with Jupiter, and Jupiter's understanding. It's Mars is accumulating experience. Jupiter is, what did you learn from your experience? What's your wisdom? What's your understanding? Do you realize what you've done? Do you understand what's happened to you? So Jupiter is a really powerful planet, but it's hard to understand understanding. So it's a bit of a mystery. And you have to see it in conjunction with Mars and Jupiter to really get how it works. So we'll do Jupiter next week. Thanks. And yeah, I hope, I mean, the worksheets, they're really useful, even though you're struggling to identify, to make it forces you to go in and see the associations to go with it. Now, I have a bunch of worksheets. I'll try and get them for you next week, or sample worksheets. I don't think in the handouts I gave out the blank worksheets, but I didn't give out examples of ones that, like, I did my own and I wrote them all out of what I expect out of it, or what would be a way that somebody's doing it so you don't feel all so isolated. I'll make a note and I'll get that. I'll try and get that to you tonight if I can. Okay, thank you very much. And there's an eclipse on Thursday. So when there's an eclipse, it's good. It's in the afternoon. It's good to take some time, just be a little bit alone. So like when the darkness happens, when eclipse, I don't think we're getting it directly here, but it's a solar eclipse. But you have to you have to carry your light inwardly while it's dark outwardly. So a little bit of silence, a little bit of chanting or meditation, very useful, very powerful on an eclipse. It's a really strong affirmation. Whereby anything really negative, you get angry, you get doing things, it magnifies the dark side. So it's useful to be a little bit detached. And they're really a mystical moments, eclipses, to try and tap inner energies. So, okay, thanks. I'll talk to you next week. Okay, bye-bye.